This video, I'm going to go through some key concepts that you need to understand so that you can try to make your deposition go as smooth as possible. Hi, I'm Naomi from Gonzalez Law, Legal Insights from California Attorneys. Welcome to ACING Your Work Comp Deposition. This is part 3. This video is part of our mission to empower clients everywhere through education on the legal process. Please support us in our mission by liking this video so more people can ace their depositions. So here are the key concepts that if you understand them, it'll help your deposition to run smoothly. First, you need to understand the difference between a conversation and a deposition. We're used to having conversation. In a conversation, you're able to share information back and forth without a problem. If you don't get every word of a question, but you get the gist of a question, you answer it, no problem. And you're also able to use expressions or exaggerations to really make your point. And that's fine and dandy for a conversation. But a deposition is a completely different animal. As soon as the word leaves your mouth, it's written down by the court reporter, and you're going to be held to those words, and those words are going to be taken at their dictionary meaning. On your deposition, there's no such thing as an expression or an exaggeration. You have to say exactly what you mean. Number 2, you need to understand the importance of having a pause before you answer the question. And this is important for 4 reasons. First, your attorney has a window of opportunity to make an objection. That window starts when the defense attorney is finished asking the question, and it ends at the time you begin to answer the question. What happens sometimes is people start anticipating the end of the question. They think they know what's going to be asked, so they start answering sooner and sooner, and it might even overlap with the defense's question. If that happens, then your attorney has no opportunity to make an objection if they need to do so. Now, that's not the main reason, because a workers' compensation deposition in general is not as adversarial as a civil matter. If the defense attorney is a good attorney, they're only going to ask appropriate questions, and your attorney will not have to make any objections at your deposition. Don't be surprised if your attorney makes no objections. The second reason is it gives you a chance to fully understand the question. Once they ask the question, you're going to want to think about it in your head, figure out exactly what they're asking you. That way you're able to answer it correctly. The third reason is your brain also takes an extra second to really think back in your past to know if you have the correct answer to the question. For example, they may ask you, have you been in a car accident before? You say no, but you didn't give your brain time to really think about it. You may have been in a car accident when you were a baby, but you hadn't thought that far back, because your brain does take an extra second to really process that and try to think if that's the correct answer. The fourth reason is you want to have a comfortable pace at your deposition. When they ask you a question, if you pause before giving the answer, then you will find that your deposition will fall into a nice, relaxed type of pace. So you're not rushing, you're giving yourself plenty of time to think before answering the question. The third key concept is you need to understand the format of the defense's questions. Now, they can't just ask questions in any format they want to. They have to ask them in a very specific way. So for example, if they want to ask you this, they have to do it by setting a foundation first in order to get there. So the foundation will be this question, which will lead to this one, which will lead to this one, which will lead to this one, and finally they can ask you what they want to know. And all these questions leading up to it are usually yes or no questions. If it's a yes, it builds on to the next one. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, well, tell me about this. If you don't follow the rules in answering these questions, what might happen is you're going to answer something that's not a yes or no, and it's going to pivot and go into a whole other line of questioning, and then they'll have to come back to this line later. But the problem might be if they're asking this whole line of questions that they didn't know to ask before, something might come out during that line of questioning that might hurt your case. That's why you want to always follow the rules with yes, no, or very brief answers. That's also why sometimes people feel that they're being asked the same question over and over, when really it's not the same question, but it's a similar question because they're trying to build you to get to what they want to ask. You have to really listen carefully to understand the difference between the questions. Key concept number 4, you need to understand what to do if you do not know the answer to a question. Now, this is a little bit of a trick question because you always know the answer to the question, even if that answer is, I do not know, I do not remember, or I do not understand. As long as what you're saying is the truth, it's the correct answer. Key concept number 5. If you have a psychological injury, you need to understand how the deposition will be different for you. Most of workers' comp has orthopedic injuries. In an orthopedic deposition, they're going to limit their questions to what's relevant physically for you. If you twisted your ankle, they're not going to be asking you, so has your wife been cheating on you again? Or have you lost anybody close to you or ever been abused? Those kind of questions are not relevant to your orthopedic injury. However, if you pled psychological, now you have made psychological a part of your case. The job of the defense attorney is to make the argument that how you're feeling is not to do with work, but is actually to do with something that's happened in your past or something that is going on in your life today. In order to make that argument, they have to be able to ask you questions. And basically, everything is fair game in your life and any treatment you've had in the past, even psychological treatment. So you need to understand that this deposition will be very personal. You can go ahead and take all the time you need to and take all the breaks you need to, but just be aware of that. I hope this was helpful for you. If you would like us to be with you during your deposition, give us a call or text us consult, and we'll be very happy to discuss that with you. Thank you. Bye. Now this in itself is a little bit of a trick question. Now this in itself is a little bit of a trick question or a trick topic.